War blessings and peace. Ramadan Mubarak. We're going to get straight into it. Just finished a morning run, 4.5 miles. A little better than yesterday. Feeling good. My morning vibe, my morning message is defund the police. And I mean it just that. There is no gray area. Defund the police. Under federal and state statutes and laws, America's police force can be legally classified as a terrorist organization. It has a history, a proven history of invoking terror on black people. Since its inception, post-slavery, it's done nothing but terrorize black people in particular. And based upon the continuous heinous acts, again, it can legally be classified as an organization of terror. Under the provisions of Homeland Security, it can be legally classified as a terrorist organization. So based upon America's own statutes and provisions, it should be defunded. Now I know many of you pro-police advocates may disagree, and that's perfectly all right. Your mindset is simple to understand, just like the mindset of a nigger. He's a simple creature to understand. But there's a difference between a black man and a nigger. That's a story for another time, and that's a message for another time. But many of you pro-police advocates, I'm sure you will disagree. That American police force needs to be defunded. Now, many of you advocates may say, well, that sounds ludicrous. If you defund the police, then who's going to protect? Who's going to enforce, and who's going to support the laws of the land? Who's going to support the civilians? Who's going to support the people? Who's going to support you people? Us black people. Well, we'll protect and serve each other. I say raise up let's go after the gang members, the Bloods, the Crips, the GDs, the Vice Lords, the L Rookers, the Stones. Let's go after them. Let's go after those gangs. And again, some of you may say, man, that sounds crazy. You're going to go and ask gang members to be law enforcers? Why not? We are already using taxpayers' money to support another gang. America's police force is nothing but a gang. It's a gang, and they wave their colors, the black and the blue, or the blue, the boys in blue, just like street organizations. They have their bumper stickers, they have their hats, their T-shirts, their flags. So if all they've done with taxpayers' money is terrorized us, tortured and murdered us, then why not pay? Why not take a chance on going after these street organizations, these other gangs, and sit down with them brothers and sisters and give them a knowledge of self, pay them a living wage, a living salary that'll reform their lives. See, that's what makes a difference. Give them a job, give them a career opportunity, where they'll be motivated. Who would go out and give them guidance? Those of us who claim to have God on our side. Christian family, Muslim family, religious family. All of you who claim that you have God on your side, that God is your protector, that Allah is your protector. So if God is on your side, then it's our responsibility to get out there amongst them brothers and sisters in the street and give them protection. Let's stand around them. Whenever they get out in the streets, we look at them and we frown. We see these brothers and sisters with their dreadlocks, and their pants hanging off their behinds, and we condemn them. We speak from a position of white supremacy and black inferiority, and we slander these brothers and sisters. But if we're the ones who have guidance, and they're the ones who don't, then we have to close the gap. We have to get out there, get up out them structural houses of God and get out into the streets. The real house of God out here in these streets. And talk to them brothers and sisters. Give them a knowledge of self. Show them the way. And so I think that's a better solution. We don't have anything to lose. America's police force is not for us. They need to be completely defunded. Stop paying them. They don't deserve a paycheck. They're savages. Many of you say, well, they need more training. Man, let's stop that insanity of justifying, what they're doing to us. They don't need more training. There's nothing wrong with their training. Where the system is broken, it needs to be fixed. The system isn't broken. You know, when you look at that America's police force, you're looking at a perfect system. You know, these officers are, you know, they do exactly what their training dictates. You know, they don't need more training. They don't need better training. You know, their training is perfect. You know, it's us who has this integrated society mindset, whereas we want to continue to be integrated with this terrorist organization. You know, we buy into these new terminologies, systemic racism. What is that? Listen, family. That's a phrase that was coined to separate the act from the humans who are committing the acts. You know, systemic racism. You know, as if this is something, this is a disease, that this is a condition that exists on its own, that this is some type of inanimate ideology that doesn't have an animate creator. You know, you can't separate the act from the humans, the savages, the beasts who commit the acts. You know, white supremacy, systemic racism, they're kin, they're one of the same. You know, it's a trinity. You know, they all go together. You know, so, you know, don't feed into that. You know, white people are the authors of systemic racism. And if you look at America's police terrorist organization as an institution of systemic racism, then how do you expect it to change, or how do you expect to destroy it when you continue to finance it? Now, to those of us in the black community, stop speaking with split tongues, forked tongues. You know, you can't have the mindset of F the police one minute and then you're calling 911 the next. You know, you can't condemn them one minute and then have an expectation of them to be your savior the next. You know, that's hypocrisy on our behalf. You know, so again, if your mindset is F the police, don't call 911. You know, so we have to get to a point where we can call on each other to be the protectors and servers of ourselves. You know, that's the solution. You know, and we can do it. You know, there's no way that we should be out here working as hard as we work with as little pay as we receive, and then to have all our taxes taken, you know, to continue to finance this organization that does nothing but murder and maim our people. You know, so that's my message for today. Defund the police. Defund the police. Defund the police.